Implications of a failed education system. So, who is to blame? The children or the system? Exclusively, intolerance, getting rid of, not my responsibility, blame are all symptoms of projection, projected guilt, guilt over dilemmas we don't know how to solve, of feelings overwhelmed and powerless, of the fears, anxieties, and dangers that challenging and difficult behavior presents us with. Guilt at knowing we should, but we can't, don't have the time, the resources, the support, the skill, the will. There are many teachers who feel overwhelmed when dealing with children with behavior problems. It is a teacher's job to help the student feel as though they are a part of the learning experience. In many cases, there will be less behavior issues and more learning taking place. This is an important aspect to me because it shows that no matter the behavior issues, if the kids see that there's someone that cares, then they are going to be more willing to comply with the teacher's requests. But if the students feel that the teacher just teaches for a paycheck, then they're not going to be very likely to be compliant with the teacher. So that's something that I have noticed, and I noticed when I was in school. Individualizing education. Although many experts have welcomed the government's proposal to simplify the curriculum for young children, they warn that this reform has made the education system too inflexible and mandatory, and not based enough on the individual learning of each child. When the system is too structured, there is no room for teachers to individualize any of the materials. And the students may begin to think they do not matter and are not important. Individualizing education can be very important in certain education systems that have more behavior issues. By individualizing education, students will feel more inclined to participate and may feel encouraged to learn more. This is important because the problem with having such a structured education system is it doesn't give too much freedom to the teachers to engage students and help them learn in a way that they may need to learn, because there is so many ways that teachers can teach, and when their creativity is taken away, then it becomes less exciting for the students to be taught by the teacher. So how can this change? Well, one way is accountability. There is clearly a need for the legislation to work with the County Office of Education to develop a comprehensive monitoring and academic accountability system to hold school districts accountable for effective curriculum, instruction, and learning environments that will produce successfully achieving students. I feel that the key phrase in this quote is successfully achieving students. Well, that can be defined in many different ways, and I won't go into all of them because I really won't have that much time. But to me, successfully achieving students are students who are very excited about learning and are willing to use what they've learned in the future. And we don't see that in many education systems until students get higher into their learning years, like in college and graduate school. So that's something that is very important in that quote. When there is accountability in the system, there may be a higher chance for positive change to occur in the system. It is important to ensure that everyone who is involved in the education process is performing at their best to provide a quality education for students. It's important that students are receiving a quality education and not one that, you know, the teacher reads out of a book and then students have to do their work. You know, they need something a little bit more than just the mundane everyday experience, especially at a young age. Harmony in our system. Now, forgive me with this name. Alastair McIntyre, I'm assuming, opens his Richard Peters lecture on the educated public with his contention that modern educational systems have failed to carry out their outstanding task of harmonizing the tension between the actualization and individualization of their students, and blames it on the modern world, which he says has rendered the idea of an educated public impossible. There can be major challenges to a changing world when it comes to education. New technology, social fads, and political aspects can come into play when teaching occurs. There needs to be a cohesion between all of these aspects in order for the education system to continue and flourish. This is important because there does need to be a balance between all of these things. Education cannot be too technology based, and there needs to be a correlation between things that are going on in the culture and things that are going on in the classroom. Everything needs to be balanced, and with a world that's changing so frequently, especially this day and age, it can be difficult to keep up. But it's definitely one thing that would help in the education system to be able to incorporate all of these different aspects. And then we have our references. Thanks for listening.